Hello again. Right, part two. I'll try to make this one quicker. Yesterday I went on a bit random things, but there you go. Couple of corrections though. I misunderstood the maps at the back of the book. The Weeding Woods, which is what we're talking about. I'm actually having a bit of a gameplay today, and I've got a board, so to speak, laid out in front of me. At the back of the book, all of these blank maps kind of confused me. Why would you have several blank maps at the back of the book? Surely you only need one because you're going to photocopy it, you're going to print it out. And Ollie actually pointed out, well, you've got several, so you can quite literally cut them out, which is actually quite a good idea. And because they're double-sided, you have twice as many for the same price. Fantastic. There's an update to this book that is now being sold through Amazon, etc., that apparently contains marked up maps. So rather than having to kind of go through initially and try and figure out which locations are where and plot out a map, actually each quest has got one already done. So you can either download those from the website and print them, or you've got them at the back of the book, or both, your choice. Second correction as well, random number table. I think yesterday I described like this genius idea of this random number table, absolutely fantastic. And I seem to recall I might well have implied that you could use it to map out the game as well as other things. It's very specifically about picking rewards. It actually just occurred to me that the numbers in the table go up to 27, which is the number of different reward cards available. And of course, if they go up to 27, yet there are 50 locations, that would kind of imply missing some out. So it's not for setting up the locations, it is for picking rewards. I also wanted to point out on the back, I really should have read the instructions first because it clearly says 11 quests, 14 classes, pull-out maps, and story logs. So of course, there you go. It even tells you on the back you're supposed to pull the maps out or cut them out because there was no perforations in the edges, such being the printing from Amazon. Anyway, right, where were we? Okay. Oh yes, extra maps and story logs can be found for free online by scanning the QR code as well, which is really useful. So I've picked a quest and I've picked a class, and we're going to have a quick playthrough. Now I may not well complete the whole thing, or I might complete it almost immediately, such is the nature of the quest that I've picked. Right, let's have a look through here then. So class and quest. And the description for the thief on this page on the book, and apologies, one of the downsides of this video setup is you will keep seeing my arm fly across from the camera there across the board. Nothing I can really do about it. Again, no professional setup. The thief. Why pay for things when you have skills like yours? Absolutely. You are quick, quiet, and seemingly always poor. Living life on the edge has always been your way, but is it time to turn over a new leaf and live life on the straight and narrow? Maybe. Unlikely, but I'm sure it will be fun trying. Special skills. Forgot to mention this. Each character has special skills. They may start with higher characteristics, higher stats. They might start with more or less gold. They might start with a reward. They might start with a sort of a magical ability. Special skill for the thief. If you visit the trader or the traveling market and choose to buy or sell an item, you can try to steal a reward if you roll your fortune or under. Okay, now that's good and kind of bad. So if you remember what I said yesterday, fortune is a decreasing value. So the thief starts with a fortune value of 5. So, you know, if I'm rolling a 4-sided dice, always going to win. But no, because actually the first time I roll it, I have to get 5 or under on a d4, guaranteed. Second time, 4 under, still guaranteed, assuming modifiers not against me. But then it's down to 3, 2, 1. And bear in mind that I'm not just using my fortune to steal things from traders. I could be using it throughout the quest in other locations. So this is a potential worry, but it's an opportunity as well. I shall exploit that one. Okay, right. In front of me, what you should be able to see from the video coming down there, I have printed out a map for a quest called Legacy of the Hood. It's a bit of a sort of Herne the Hunter, borderline Robin Hood, Silver Arrow themed quest. One of my favourite 1980s TV shows was, in fact, my favourite 1980s TV show was Robin of Sherwood, essentially. So Legacy of the Hood really is up my street. Now, I'm kind of mixing components here. So I want to point it out really clearly. And apologies, the character sheet is at 90-degree angle. No professional video. I can cope with the numbers being side on for the camera, so that works, but I need the character sheet pointing towards me. Look, it's just a character sheet, you know, name, fighting skill, blah, 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 blah. We've all seen them before. Okay, but this character sheet, you'll notice is slightly in colour. This is actually from one of the box versions of Olly's Storymaster Tales games. I just couldn't be bothered to print one out. I've got stacks of these character sheets, so I just grabbed one for speed. Likewise, the token I'm using, this little blue pearl, that came from one of the games as well, as did the pencil, as did the 2D4. You know, you don't need any of those, by the way. I'm sure we've all got writing implements. Well, actually, I was about to say we've all got D4, but maybe we don't. But that's fine. Again, if you do not have a D4, you can randomly pick numbers from the edge of the book here. So that's absolutely fine. Okay, I just grabbed that just to make my life a little bit easier, to be honest. Okay, so I am going to play the Thief. So first of all, I shall write down my starting characteristics. So my class is the Thief. My fighting skill is 3. Okay, that's medium. And his default damage, everyone's default damage at the start, unless it says otherwise, is going to be 1. So I'll do 1 damage in combat unless I get high skull damage roll, or half that damage. What's half of 1? Given the minimum is 1, I guess I might even round it down to 0 then actually. You know, I've done the hit but not got the damage. I've got a magic craft of 2, which is not so great. Fortune of 5, which is super awesome. Health of 10, which is really, really good. So that's a nice high health score. I've got 20 gold already. Well, that's going to make my life slightly easier. So I'm going to call this one Thimble the Thief. Now you can pick an 18th century style name if you want, but actually Thimble just rolls off the tongue quite nicely. So we're going to do that. Now, I'm just going to bring a couple of things into shot on the camera so you can see what I'm actually up to. So I hope this shows up okay. So under here, you can see I've got the Thief. This is basically literally what I've just written down, the characteristics at the bottom, the introduction, and that's the bit that tells me about, actually I've got this fortune ability that means I can potentially steal things. Oh, fantastic. I should always be able to steal things in the game. Now, I am going to pick a quest. I've already picked it actually. As you can see down there, it says Legacy of the Hood at the top of the pre-printed map, which I downloaded just now. So I'm just going to turn around Legacy of the Hood so you can have a quick look at it, but then I will have to rotate it so that I can actually read it. Now, each quest has an introduction, it has the objective, the thing that means you succeeded or not, where you start, which you'll actually see in a moment. Quest areas to add. These are like the guaranteed things. You know, you really need these on the board to make it make sense. But obviously I've got a pre-printed map, so the starting area and the quest area is already done. And how many rounds? So solo play, 3 days, 72 rounds, more than one person, 2 days, 48 rounds. So, you know, you can play this for as long as or as short as you want. I'm not going to make you sit here, by the way, for 72 rounds. I think we'd all get a bit depressed, you know. Yeah, I'm sure you've got better things to do, you know, the washing up, the hoovering. I've certainly got those to do. Okay, anyway, so I'm just going to turn this around so I can actually read it. Okay, Legacy of the Hood. You have an extraordinary dream. A mist rises up, and in it you see the figure of a creature, half man, half stag. In your mind's eye, he tells you that his name is Herne, spirit of the forest. He wants you to find a mystical item that was lost 300 years ago when it was given to a man called Robin of the Hood. The silver arrow possesses mystical powers and must go to a new hero of the people. Once you have it, you must take it to the highwayman, or if you cannot find him, Quasimodo the Wise. After this dream, you wait to find yourself in a strange stone circle. So you can actually see item number, location 33 is already circled. That is the stone circle. That is my starting location. The objective, find the silver arrow and take it to the highwayman or Quasimodo the Wizard. That is what I've got to bear in mind. Now, some of the quests require you to go to a specific location. So I mentioned previously the first quest, Revenge of the Shadow Kings. I'm just going to re-show you that on the board here. And you can see it says quest areas to add number 19. What that means is if you know where quest area 19 is on the board, you can immediately plot a map to it, plot a route to it, avoiding certain directions and getting there as quickly as you can, or be a bit time consuming, circuitous about it, because you probably want to beef up your characteristics and your character before you go and take on that Shadow King. This quest is not like that though. So the silver arrow is one of the rewards. Essentially, it's random whether I get it or not, but I think there might be some biases in here that enable me to guarantee get it. Even so, I might be lucky, I might get it on the first reward that I get. So maybe I'll get this just purely by going to the trader and stealing items, and suddenly a silver arrow turns up, which would not be the greatest way to complete the quest, but it's theoretically possible. You know, different styles of quests. So some quests are going to take you to a specific location, others are after items, others are to accrue a certain amount of gold, all variations on the theme, and they are themes that are quite common to role-playing games, to board games as well. So there's no kind of big headache of learning kind of the kinds of things that you have to do. And that's a really good point here, actually. This is really easy to get into. You know, it's described as a bit of a gateway to role-playing games, an introduction to role-playing games. You've got the soundscapes. You can choose if you want to be in character or not. I'm probably not going to try and sound like a thief, whatever that is on this. You know, it's just you and me. It really is. But you know, looking at this, I'm going to play this game for a while, and we'll see where we get to, basically. And the rules will kind of become apparent as we do. Okay, right. So I'm starting on the stone circle. Now, stone circle is number 33. So I'm going to turn to 33 in the book very slowly. Very exciting watching people turn pages, isn't it? So number 33, the stone circle. I'll show you the artwork. Look at that gorgeous artwork on there. It's absolutely fantastic. So number 33. And again, we've got these QR codes in SoundCloud, and I had a bit of a disaster trying to actually demonstrate how fast it is to scan it. So I have a backup plan if my phone refuses to scan. So let's just go to Google Lens and try it again. Ah, brilliant, first time.
A strange and mystical sound draws you through the woodland until you reach this circle of ancient and imposing rocks. One of them glows from within. Do you sit down and pray? Venture through the portal? Sacrifice an animal on the altar? Or do nothing?
Now, as I explained, as well as that narration, you've then got this beautiful soundscape that plays in the background. And if I'm playing on my own, well, it's not us. Or you're playing in a group, fantastic. But for the purpose of the video, it will just get distracting. So I'll pause that there. Now, this is very interesting. I'm in this stone circle. Do I sit down and pray? Do I venture through the portal? Do I sacrifice an animal on the altar, or do nothing? Well, that's really dark, isn't it? You know, I've just started playing the game, so the first thing I do is get the knives out, you know, and some pure, some poor innocent bunny rabbit. I don't think we'll be doing that. There's a portal. Ooh, you know what? I'm a thief. Thieves like traveling. I think I'll go through the portal. Venture through the portal. Now, I should point out, solo play. And even in group play, but solo play especially, you can quite quickly get familiar with some of these locations game after game. But there are 4 options. What I have as a house rule is if I come to a location where I think I'm going to know the outcomes, know the options, I just randomize it basically. So I introduce a bit of an element of luck into that, and that increases the replayability. And also, to be honest, the other way is I don't play these games every single day, so I tend to forget them over time. Venture through the portal. You step into the shimmering light. Your body feels as if it's been stretched and rolled. Lands and time seem to fly beneath your feet, and you find yourself waking up in a new location. Oh, okay. Roll your fate to see where you land. Oh, it's a bit of a teleportation-y thing, isn't it, this? Okay, right. Roll your fate on a d4. Let's have a look. We get number 1. So d4, my d4 works by the number at the top. So 1. I appear in the far north. Well, okay, I'm almost in the far north as well. So if I go straight north from here, basically it's far north, far east, far south, and then choose any location. Well, I'm clearly going to go straight north then because it's far north. So my character is going to jump to number 42 at the start of the next round. So not a lot happened there really, but we're off. We're moving now. You'll notice on the character sheet, rotated 90 degrees, just for your annoyance, that there are numbers going around the outside. So these also appear in the black and white versions as well. I'm just going to put that into the camera so it's probably easier for you to see. So they happen in the black and white versions as well. That enables me. Right, I'm at the wolf. So again, I can just scan the QR code, or I can just scroll up and down to number 42. I've got it in front of me, so I may as well just play it.
A growling behind you forces you to turn quickly around. There in the silver light is a large female wolf. Her teeth are bared at you, and cold eyes are sizing you up for a tasty meal. Will you attack the wolf? Try and calm the wolf down? Run away from the wolf? Or stay very, very still?
Ooh, crikey. That does not sound good, does it? Now, I don't know what to pick here. So, bit stuck to be honest, so I better make a decision quickly, haven't I? Otherwise it's going to be just watching me staring at a piece of paper. Okay, so do I attack the wolf? Well, I'm all right in combat. I've got a lot of health I can soak up, but I can just see a wolf as being quite a tough thing, really, and I'm trying to be a better option. Try to calm the wolf down. Run. Yeah, okay, that doesn't involve violence. Hopefully, that's good. I always think it was on thief. I try to violence is a secondary thing that I'll get into. If I can get out of violence, I will do first. Run away. Well, I've only just arrived here. Running away just means I can run around the board doing nothing, or stay very, very still. I'm going to try to calm the wolf down, and we will see what happens. Maybe softly singing to the wolf might calm her down. Well, I don't have a singing voice, but we'll give it a go. You remember an old lullaby your mother used to sing, so you try to replicate her soothing tones. Roll your fortune or under. Lucky, and the wolf walks over to you. Unlucky, and it goes to attack you. Oh, okay. Well, the good thing here is, right, as I mentioned, kind of pointing at this, fortune 5, so clearly, we've got 4-sided dice, bang, guaranteed success. So, fantastic. But my fortune has now been reduced by 1. So my fortune is down to 4. So you can clearly see these kind of luck scenarios. You start lucky, you gradually end up unlucky unless you can replenish your fortune. So let's have a look. Okay, fair enough. Lucky, and the wolf. Oh well, and the wolf walks over to you. Something in her eyes makes you feel as if you may have met before. Gain 2 fortune. So weirdly and luckily, I've actually got a fortune 6, so I've ended up in a nice situation there. That's quite lucky. Okay, so this area, this is really important. So, game mechanic. At the bottom here in this text, it says this area will only appear once. So that means, although I can travel across this location again, I cannot meet the wolf again, essentially. So what I'm going to do as a result of that is I'm actually just going to cross off number 42. So what that means is I can walk through that location quite happily. So if I was at 39, for example, I can jump straight across to 26, and you go across for free. And it's actually in the rules that says you've got the safe pathway you can go across, but I can't visit the wolf specifically. So right, and also of course that's my second turn done. So 2 turns in already. No sign of any rewards. Okay, now where I actually want to be is down at the traders and things like that. So okay, so let's see where we go. So I got 39 or 26. Now I kind of feel like I want to be curving to the left. I have no idea why, but I'm going to go my third turn to number 26. And number 26 is the graveyard. Great, I'm doing well here about staying safe, aren't I? So graveyard, again, just look at this artwork. It's black and white, line drawing. That's just, it ticks all the boxes for me. It really does. I love it to bits. So number 26 on here is the graveyard.
The overgrown vegetation has hidden the last resting places of many a man, woman, and child. For what reason this graveyard was left to the elements, who knows? But maybe you will find something of interest among the dear departed. Will you search amongst the graves, dig up a grave, read some of the headstones, or sit down and contemplate your mortality?
Oh, I love that. I love that voice so much. I really do. So I love the artwork. I love the voice. I love the locations. I just have smiles on my face when I play this game. I really do. Okay, right. This is more like the location you'd expect to find a thief, because every thief is clearly a grave robber in waiting, apparently. So search amongst the graves, dig up a grave, read some of the headstones, or sit down and contemplate. Well, you know what? I'm a thief. I'm actually. I mean, it's kind of obvious, really. You know, let's face it, folks. When has it ever gone well digging up graves in any, and I mean any, role-playing game, right? Just saying. So I'm going to search amongst the graves, which admittedly almost always goes wrong as well. But we'll give it a go. Search amongst the graves. You roll up your sleeves and scrabble around the headstones, hoping to find something of use. Roll your fate. Oh, this is another D4 roll here. Right, the options are: 1, you find something worthless. So you find some worthless dead flowers. 2, you find a bit of gold. 3, a spider bites you. And 4, you find an iron dagger. Okay, you know, so there's options here. Let's see. Of course, we know exactly what's going to happen, don't we? 3, yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's me. That's me all over. Okay. A little spider bites you. You're poisoned. Lose 2 health. Okay. So straight away, health down to 8. Okay, not so good. Right. This area stays here. So that's quite important at the bottom. This area stays here. So that means I can come back here. I can quite happily dig up as many graves or search as many headstones as I want to in this location. But again, it would be boring watching me going backwards and forwards doing the same. So what we should do is we shall move on. Now, I'm kind of following the route around here. This is a difference between the card version of this game and this map version. The card version, you've essentially got an X by Y grid. I kind of explained that last time. You lay the cards out next to each other, and therefore you can essentially move around that grid. Here, there's actually pathways through the forest, which I quite like, actually. Yeah. Let's go on to number 7, seeing as it's right next to me. I always like to know where I have been before. So even though it says this location stays, I'm actually going to put an underscore on number 26, just so I know that I've been there before. Actually, I'm also going to put an underscore on number 33, which is where I started. So, okay, I am over to location 7. Location 7, the Spider Queen. Oh, okay. Just been bitten by a spider, and now I'm in a location with a Spider Queen, and that is just outrageously good artwork. By the way, apologies for pronunciation. The artist here is Nick Vuimin, Vuimin, Vuimin maybe. Nick, dude, you are so good at this artwork. Oh, ticks the boxes. I keep saying that, I know. Right, number 7. Let's go to number 7. Here we go.
As it's dark, you realize too late that you have stumbled into hundreds of fine, translucent threads that make up some kind of web. Before long, you are held fast. In the gloom approaching you is a huge spider. It clicks its mouth in delight as it sees its latest prey. Roll your fate.
crikey. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's my fourth turn. I forgot to cross off number 3. Let's just do that now. Okay, right. Roll your fate. 1, it attacks you. 2, it wraps you in a web. 3, it smells you. Or 4, out of nowhere, a giant eagle appears. Yes, random. Well, it is fate, isn't it? So, of course, my dice rolled. Something bad will happen. 2, it wraps you in a web. Well, there you go. Let's have a look. Okay, saving you for a tasty meal later, the spider wraps you up in webbing. Roll your fighting skill or under to get out. Fail and you must try again in the next round. Fail 3 times in 3 rounds and Spider Queen comes back to eat you alive. Okay. Roll your fighting skill or under to get out. What is my fighting skill? It's 3. Okay, so it's a 50. No, it's 75%, isn't it? Because I'm using a D3. This is an interesting game mechanic, right? So I'm using D4. So roll my fighting skill or under on a D4 is 3 out of 4. So therefore it's a 75% chance of success. Roll my fighting skill or under if I was using a D6 would clearly be a 50-50, or it's a lower percentage. So if you use a D6, you make the game harder, essentially, with things like this. That's brilliant. You can change the complexity of the game from normal to extreme mode, let's call it, just by changing the dice that you roll for D4 or D6. Absolutely brilliant. I can't think of many games actually where you can just change the complexity just purely by changing the dice. Anyway, 75% chance of getting out there. 1. Yes. I never roll successfully on things like that. I'm so good. So, right, I pull the webs off me. Again, do you want role playing? Do you not want role playing? You can decide in your group. I'm just going to mind pulling webs off me. I haven't done the hoovering yet, so there probably are a few spiders' webs around. I could have grabbed some of those. Okay, so roll fighting skill under to get out. I got out. It says this area will only appear once. So I'm going to move on from here down to 23. So I'm going to do 2 things. End of turn, so I cross out turn 4 there. And I'm also going to cross out number 7. Again, I can go back across that location, but I can't go back and actually see and meet the spider. So location 23 is where I'm going to. So let's flip over to location 23. I've not had a single reward yet for anything. I need to go and find a shop and start seeing stuff. The chapel. Oh, it's all a bit kind of like graveyards and chapels and spiders, isn't it, up here? Okay. Number 23, the chapel. More artwork from Glorious Nick. Just fantastic. Can't get enough of this artwork. Really can't. Okay. So number 23, the chapel.
In the soft light, you make out the shape of a little chapel set at the end of an overgrown woodland path. It looks like it is in dire need of repair, and you would think that it was abandoned if it wasn't for the light you can see flickering inside. You enter and see a nervous-looking young priest. Choose now to pray at the altar, ask the priest to bless you and your items, try and steal something, or ask if you can help the priest.
So, normally in this kind of game, if I'm not playing a thief, I would naturally go on to help the priest, mainly because I like getting side quests, and it feels like some kind of side quest would be occurring there. But you know what? I need to be finding rewards. I haven't read it, so I don't know if that's what I'm going to get. I need to also be acting like a thief, I think. So, number 3, try to steal something. Having lost your respect for the church some time ago, you think it's time for it to give something back. Roll your fortune or under. Lucky, and you steal some church candlesticks worth 40 gold. Okay. Unlucky if each catches you and curse you with foul language. Okay. Well, okay, my fortune is 6. Clearly, I'll just use the other one. Well, whatever, But my fortune has gone down by 1 to 5. So we're back to where we started. So the thief starts out in this brilliant position of being incredibly, incredibly lucky. But you can imagine, as I'm playing this game, fortune after fortune after fortune roll, if it does not get replenished, the tide will turn against the thief. So what have I stolen? I've stolen some candlesticks worth 40 gold. So I'm going to write down candlesticks, and they're worth 40 gold. So that means I can sell those potentially later. Now, one of the quests is actually another quest is to recover 200 gold, I think it is. So clearly getting an item worth 40 gold would be really valuable. For me, I'm probably just going to brandish them and bat people over the head with them, no doubt. Okay, so I've got two options here. I can go back the way I came, or I can carry on to number 45. Now, unfortunately, I appear to have lost my seat. So this is Ernie. Ernie says hello. Right, Ernie, excuse me. I think it's time to carry on with the game. Okay, so I'm going to carry on from number 23 down to 45, and I'm going to underscore 23 because it is somewhere that I can come back to if I so wish. Right, onwards to 45, the cave. So the cave is one of a key number of locations. So better explain. There are several locations inside the Weirden Woods which are more detailed than others. They have even more options. They have sub options. They have lots of explanation of what's going on. So most locations are over 2 pages. The cave is actually over 4 pages. And there are a few special locations like that as well. There's also ways to move into other games as well. So, for example, the cave is an entrance into Drakadeep Dungeon, and Drakadeep Dungeon is either a supplement or a standalone game. Can be played as either to go alongside Weirding Woods. Pretty much the same game mechanics, but it's obviously underground, So and the quests and the themes are different as well. So there are a number of crossover locations. So you could actually use all of these games together, moving between them essentially from crossover locations. I'm not going to do that. We'll be here a long time. So I go to 45, the cave. And again, using SoundCloud, because I've got it spun up here.
The howl of the wind echoes from the entrance of the cave. Carvings around the entrance warn you that whatever is inside could be dangerous. You also realize that there could be some useful treasure to be found. Will you enter the cave, search around the entrance, throw a rock inside, or leave the area?
I do so love these soundscapes. They really, really add to the game. Bit of atmosphere. Well, the options around this howling wind around this entrance of the cave. The options: enter the cave, search around the entrance, throw a rock inside, or leave the area. Well, you know what? I did say I was going to try and find things. I think if I go into the cave, I'm going to be brave. I'm a thief. I can skulk in the shadows. So go on. Let's give it a go. Enter the cave. There might be something of interest inside this cave. Oh, okay. You enter, and in the darkness, suddenly find yourself wholly lost. Roll your fate for each direction you take. Play 3 rounds inside the cave before rolling d4 to determine which location you exit to. Oh, okay, so this is actually going to make me exit to potentially a different location in the game. Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. Right, so I've got to play 3 locations in the cave. So 3 rounds inside the cave. Okay, well, I'm just going to make this really easy. So this is my first round. So I will, on the scale, it'll be 6, 7, and 8 that I'll cross off. So I'm just going to underline those so that I know I'm playing 3 rounds inside the cave. Okay, so 3 rounds inside the cave. So I've got pick locations. Which direction am I going to go in first? Well, let's go into the cave, and I think inside the cave I'll immediately head north. Let's have a look at north. You discover a small broken skeleton wearing an extraordinary looking large horned helmet and clasping an old leather satchel. Ooh, okay, treasure. Looking up, you deduce that they must have fallen from a great height to their death. you try the helmet on, and you practically cannot see out, so you leave it. That's a shame. I'd rather kept it and sold it, but you know. However, in the satchel, you find a reward. Oh, look at that. You find a reward. Fantastic. So this is really simple. This is a pick a card moment, essentially. Now, I did mention the rewards that are inside the game. I will just turn to those now. Okay, so I've got a reward. Right. I will turn to the random number generator. Here you go. Random number generator on there, and I'll just put that a bit under the camera so that you can actually see it randomly number generating. Okay, so it's a really complex way to generate a random number. You close your eyes, you point with your finger, and you read off the number directly above your finger. So there you go. So I'm going to go for that number there. From my angle, it says number 22. There you go. So I have found a reward. This is reward number 22. 22. Bloodstones. Not made out of glass. Bloodstones. These dark red rocks bleed when you hold them. Oh, that's really weird. The bloodstones are evil magic. While you have them, you feel bestial. You cannot use magic craft, but add 2 to your fighting skill. I'm okay with that. So cannot use magic craft at the moment. So I'm just going to 0 that for the moment. Again, using the pen so you can actually see it under the light. I'm going to 0 the magic craft, but it says add 2 to my fighting skill. So my fighting skill is now 5. And under here, I've got bloodstones. And they make one a little bit evil. There you go. And a little bit bestial as well. So I've got those. Now, the rewards themselves are these amazing cards. So these are taken from the board game, essentially. So you can see, here you go, the bloodstones. Now, what's particularly interesting about this, of course, is potentially printable. So there is nothing stopping you from photocopying these pages, printing them out, cutting them up, and creating yourself your own card. So even though this is the book version without cards, you can make your own cards off this as well, if you so wish. You don't have to do that, you know. Entirely up to you, as with everything, and that's quite a nice thing about this game. It's very free flowing. Right, so that is round 1 in the cave. So what direction shall I go in now? So let's have a think. So I've just gone north. So I'm going to go west. Let's go west. Okay, so I got that rule completely wrong. Right, this is what happened. This version and the extended version, which I mentioned previously that I have, expanded the cave enormously. And it's the first time I've actually played this location, and it really would have helped if I'd have read this before speaking to camera. So, okay, what I was supposed to do is roll my fate at each direction you take. So actually there were 4 options when I went north. That was option 1, was to pick a reward. So I kind of cheated there. But hey, my game, my rules, cheating's fine. I'm not going to get hung up about it. Answers in the comments below, no doubt. Okay, so I can pick a direction. Right, now I understand. Pick 4 directions, obviously north, south, west, east. Each direction in turn has 4 possible outcomes, which you roll your fate for. That's great. I'm going to go west this time. So let's roll to find out what happens west. Number 4. You find a cave-in. Removing a few rocks, you see some light. You can travel to number 48, the mine, if you wish. Do I want to exit to the mine? No, I don't, because I actually want to explore this cave some more. So that was my second of my 3. So this time I'm going to go south inside the cave. I roll, I go 2. You have discovered a chamber with a stone idol of a cat. Something has been burnt as an offering. Okay. You try to work out what it was, and to your horror, you see it was a bull. As it's still warm, you cut off some steak. Clearly not so horrible then. It will restore 2 health when eaten. Wonderful. So I'm just going to write down that I have some steak. And it will, how many health was it? It was plus 2 health, wasn't it? Yeah. So +2 health, essentially, when I eat the steak. Okay, so I've now spent 3 rounds inside the cave. And I've got a choice at this point. So the game mechanics allow me to move on, or I can choose to stay in a location and continue and potentially pick a different option from that location. And because I'm after rewards, I'm specifically trying to find rewards because those are the things that increase my chance of finding the silver arrow. This feels like a location where that might happen. So I'm going to spend one more set of 3 rounds inside the cave. So that'll be 9, 10, and 11 on here. So, okay, so again, I'm going to enter the cave, essentially, because that's where I think I should be. So inside the cave, I will go, well, let's go east. Why not? Let's go east. East is a different direction, isn't it, to the ones I picked before. And I go 3. A winding tunnel leads into a white crystalline room. A dark human-like shadow appears behind a wall and you feel yourself being drained of power. You manage to pull yourself out, but not before losing 1 magic craft. Okay, well I've currently got 0 because of the bloodstones. What I'll do though is I'll just reduce the original to 1, which is what it will then go back up to if or when I get rid of the bloodstones. So that was not so good. Right, well I've gone east. Let's go, keep going round, shall we? Let's go south this time then. So I'm going south and I go there 3. Now, if I get the same result as I got last time, I'll probably re-roll, by the way. Okay, 3. How goes there? Shouts a voice. You see a friendly-looking, roguish woman with pink hair. Fancy a trade? I've got this item, and it's rather too heavy for me. To be honest, I don't like it anymore. If you wish to swap one of your rewards for this reward, you can. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to say she can swap for the candlestick for the reason being that it's a valuable candlestick. I think if I had like a tomato in my backpack, I think that might be a bit of a cheat. But you know, this is a 40 gold piece worth candlestick, so I'm going to swap. Right, house rule. I made a decision. I'm going to swap that for a reward, and I'm going to pick the random number generator. So the random number generator goes onto the board, and randomly I'm going to pick. And next to my finger, at the angle I'm looking at, is number 4. What did she give me in this place? Oh, okay. So she has given me a potion of strength. So I've now got a strength potion. And it says it gives me +2 fighting skill when I use it. 1 strength, your muscles swell and ripple. Add 2 points to your fighting skill for 1 combat discard after use. Okay, well I quite like that. That's not too bad. Okay, so back to 45. That was my second of 3 locations, and I've just gone south. Let's go west. Let's find out what happens west. 4. I've actually gone back to the mine. Well, I did say I was going to re-roll if I get the same result. So let's keep to that since I did say so. Oh, 4 again. 2. Right, okay. So this part of the cavern is huge. Towering high above you is what looks like to be a carving of a monstrous dragon. Oh, down by its feet is a reward. As you take it, you are sure the statue moved. You hurriedly leave. Could you be in the mysterious Dracodeep dungeon? So I found the entrance to the Dracodeep dungeons, but actually I'm going to leg it. So being chased by a dragon is tough. Okay, right, so I'm just going to go and pick a final reward, and then I'm going to exit from the dungeon back into the Weirden Woods, and I'm going to go for that number there, which is 24 from the angle I'm looking at. I love a random number generator. 24, Resurrection Scroll. Bring out your dead for this, will breathe new life to them. Use on someone else to bring them back to life. Ah, okay, that's a kind of annoying when you're playing solo, isn't it? You know, use it on someone else. I should say, when I play solo, I normally play with 2 characters in this game. It lets you explore much faster than I'm doing here, so I could then use it. But still, it's a Resurrection Scroll. So it's a Resurrection Scroll, and it's also worth 100 gold as well, if I was to sell it, which is not bad going. Now, I will exit from the cave, and it says roll your. Yes, it says place 3 rounds of cave before rolling before determining which location you exit. So I'm going to go to location 3, and it says 24, the old castle. Ah, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to jump straight down to number 24. Okay, and the cave stays here. So I'm going to, cave stays here. I've done that location. Now I'm down to 24. Okay, so I'm at number 24, the old castle. I'll show you the artwork again. There it is. Do you know what? I probably should be showing you the artwork down here as well. So there it is. Glorious, glorious artwork. Okay, so again, it says this area stays here. So because it stays here, I'm just going to put an underline on it so I know that I have been there. This is turn 12. Okay, so number 24, the old castle. Let's just spin that up.
It was said that evil things lived here once at this old dark castle. Now it contains only mystery and danger. In the crumbling old ruins, you may find things of use here, but it may also lead to your untimely demise. Roll your fate.
Roll my fate in the castle. Okay, let's see what we get. And we all know how good I am at rolling a die. So, I'll move it onto the board so you can actually see it. Number 3, what's that? I don't know why I bother rolling these things. You set off an old arrow trap. Roll your fortune or under. Lucky and you dodge it. Well, actually, my fortune is still 5, isn't it? So we know, of course, on a 4-sided dice, I have to get less than 5. I can't get over 4. So my fortune was reduced to 4 from 5. It goes down on every test. So lucky and you dodge it. And it says this area stays here. So let's cross off 12 here. You know, oh blimey, do I go and do you know, I feel like I might do a bit more looking around the castle actually. Let's see what happens. I'm going to spend my next turn here. 3. That's another arrow trap. You know what, I'm just going to re-roll it. It's nice getting different options. House rule, I can change the dice if I don't like it. 3, apparently I can't. 1. What's that? Okay, well, maybe I should have gone with that one. Looking around the castle, you are attacked by a creature. Roll your fate to see what it is. What am I attacked by? I am attacked by a bandit. So, right, combat. We have not done combat yet, so you get to see this. Right, combat with a bandit. So, let's just put down the bandit here. And the bandit has a fighting skill of 5. And it has a health of 4. So absolutely, myself and the bandit got a bit of a ruckus, I think. So there you go. So on the in the book at the moment, so you can see the 4 different options. It was an orc, a zombie, a ghoul, or a bandit. And I've got the bandit, which luckily has the lowest health of the lot. So how do we do combat? Well, it turns out that combat is explained in the book, isn't it? And I already know this, but I'm going to load it up anyway. Load it up. I'm going to open it up for you so you can see. So if I go to page 10. Okay, so page 10, combat. If you find yourself engaged in a battle, throw a 4-sided die. Add the points from your fighting skill or magic craft if it's a magic combat, plus any rewards or items that might help you. Whoever has the lowest score between you and the opponent loses 1 health. Now I'm also using the optional rule of damage rolls here. So also roll the dice. If I get the highest number possible, 4 or 6, depending on a d4 or d6, it doubles damage. If I get the lowest number possible, obviously a 1 in each case, then it halves the damage. Which in my turn, I'm going to assume it halves it down to 0 because otherwise it's still a 1. Okay, so that's fundamentally the way we're going to do combat. Very, very simple. So I like this fast, simple combat system. Now, Bandit, however, this is the problem. Bandit has a fighting skill of 5. I have a fighting skill of 5. And yes, I have 8 health and he has 4 health. So statistically, same chance of hitting each other, but actually, same. I've got double the health, so I'm likely to survive this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to quaff quickly that strength potion, because that's going to give me for 1 combat plus 2 fight skill. So let's grab that straight away. I have this habit of just holding on to things and never using them, so let's do that. So my fight skill is temporarily 7 for this combat, but it's only for this combat. So in other words, I interpret that until the bandit is dead or I am dead. So I get to add 7, so essentially gives me a +2 bonus over the bandit. Right, I'm going to roll the dice. White dice is me, black die is the bandit. So white is me, black is bandit. So I get 2, they get 4, essentially. So when you add 2 plus 7, it's 9, and 4 plus 5 is 9. Good chunk, no damage to either person. Nobody hits, Let's roll that again. Very, very simple, fast combat mechanic. This is what you want. You don't want to be pulled out of the narration. I get a 3, they get a 1. So 3 plus 7 is 10. Obviously 1 plus 5 is 6. So the bandit loses 1 damage. Or do they? Damage roll. Let's just roll. Oops. On the white dice, aren't I? Let's keep doing that. I roll for damage. So I get a 1, so that halves it down to 0. Brilliant. Fantastic. This combat may take us some time. I win this one. I get 4, they get 1. Obviously, I'm adding 7, they're adding 5. So let's roll for damage. 2, so 2 or 3 is normal damage. So the bandit loses a health point. Very, very nice. So let's roll this again. I get a 4, bandit gets a 3, obviously it's higher, I win that one. So the bandit loses, it's a 1, the bandit loses no damage. When will the combat end? 2 and 2, that's equals. Now obviously if you have other items of interest, if you have other people involved, combat can get more involved. It's more than just kind of hitting each other with sticks and seeing who says ouch first, essentially. But for me, it was 1 character with 1 player with not a lot of kit and not really being a combat focused character as well. It's quite a simple thing that's going on, and that's actually quite good. Makes it fun and interesting, but doesn't get in the way. Brilliant. Right, so we both rolled 4, but remember I've got +7, they've got +5, because they've got 5 fight skill, whereas I've got temporarily boosted 7, so I win that round, and I deal 1 damage to them. So they're now down to 2. Okay, so they got 4 and I got a 1. Now 4 plus 5 is 9, 1 plus 7 is 8. They've hit me. Okay, I've been hit. I've taken some damage. I've been taken 1 point of damage in my health. So that goes down to 7. Okay, let's keep going. Equal. Okay, so I scored a 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. They scored 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. Equals. Roll again. 3 plus, they score 3, 3 plus 5 is 8, I score 2 plus 7 is 9, so I just scraped in a hit there. When I say scraped in a hit, the damage roll was 1, so that's nothing. I win this next round by 1, and I do 1 damage, and hopefully, oh yes, I'm going to win that roll by 1 again, because it's a 3 plus 7 is 10, 4 plus 5 is 9, so I win by 1 point, and I score 1 damage. Bang! Dead. 1 dead bandit. Fantastic. Okay. Right. The orc and the bandit have 10 gold on them. Oh, okay. So I've got myself an extra 10 gold. So I had 20 at the start. That's now up to 30 gold. Right. I'm going to move on from the old castle. I feel that staying here is a risky thing to do. It's obviously full of a few more monsters than perhaps I would like. Now, where can I go to? I'm entirely new part of the board now. So I can clearly go up to 27. I can go to 19, I can go across to 30. See, this is one of the slight problems, right? So sometimes I know the numbers, you get to know them a little bit. So if I was doing this myself, I actually prefer to randomize things where you're basically picking a number, you don't know what location you're going to next. Because I already know 19, because I've covered that before, and I really don't want to go and face that guy. So a bit of inside knowledge, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to go to number it's called 27 because it's near this big tower. I think a big tower is a good place to go. 27, the Wizard's Tower. It is a good place to go. So I am going to the Wizard's Tower. Fantastic. So let's just spin that up on here. So where's Google Lens gone? There it is. Hit the QR code. Go to SoundCloud.
At first, you don't notice it, as it seems like a trick of the light. But when you squint, you see a huge ivy-clad tower come into your vision. Only visible to those that possess the magic craft, the Wizard's Tower is known for its magical training. Do you want to visit the healers? Visit the library? Visit the Grand Wizard? Or visit the Quest Giver?
Ooh, okay, so only for people with some magic craft. Well, I've got one magic craft temporarily dropped to 0 because of those good old bloodstones. So yeah, I think I will. Visit healers. Well, I've currently got 7 out of 10 health, 70%. So I feel okay. Visit the library. Well, library's got information in them. I could find something of use there. That's very, very tempting. Visit the Grand Wizard. I assume that's Mr. Quasimore himself. He's a very nice gentleman. You should get to know him in person. Or do I visit the Quest Giver? Well, I love a quest. Absolutely love a quest. You never have enough quests. Let's go to the Quest Giver. Entering the classroom of Professor Wolfenden. He's a very esteemed person. Is a little intimidating, but he smiles at you and gives you a quest. Roll your fate. Completing it and returning it to the Wizard Tower will earn you 2 rewards. Ooh, okay, so this is a sub-quest that gives me 2 rewards. I want rewards. Rewards are good. Okay, so let's roll for my quest, which is number 1. Find the Dagger of Death and take it to the graveyard to be buried with its owner. It is thought to stop the undead and originally belonged to a friend necromancer that used to teach at the Wizard's Tower. Okay, so I've got a quest here. It's find the Dagger of Death. And I have to take that to the graveyard. And I return to the Wizard's Tower. And if I do that, I get +2 rewards. Okay. But shorthand notation is always good so that I will not be able to remember what the quest was later. In fact, just to make my life easy, I'm just going to write down that that's on page 87. Page 87. Therefore, if I get lost, I can always come back to that. Okay, good. This area stays here. So 27 stays here. Excellent. Right. I am going to move on to number 4. Number 4. 4 is my favourite number. So what's number 4? There's a woodland elf. A glorious woodland elf. So a bit of scanning the QR code.
The wind blows gently, and as you turn around, you see an elegant elf standing by your side. He introduces himself as Ashleaf, woodland elf of the Senlek Hills. What do you do? Ask him about your quest? Ask him if you can help him? Attack him? Or leave him alone?
Let's not attack him. He seems like a very nice chap. So, do I ask him about my quest, which is for the Silver Arrow? Do I ask him if I can help him? Or do I leave him alone? Well, I tend not to go for the leave them alone or leave the location. I like to do the exploration. I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask him about my quest. You never know, right? You ask him if he might have any information about my quest for the Silver Arrow. He smiles and tells you that if you travel to the spring, you will find help there. Oh, okay. It gives you an empty elven bottle that you can fill with 5 points of healing water if you manage to locate it. Oh, crikey. So this is kind of a mini quest, really. So this is a quest to go to, so I've got an empty elven bottle, empty, I'm just going to say empty bottle. And I need to take that to the spring. And if I take it to the spring, I can get +5 health potions. I'm going to assume that I can drink it bit by bit. I don't think it's a single +5 hit. That'd be a tonic, wouldn't it? He will only appear once. Ashley, thank you so much for your help, Ashley, but that's the last time I shall see you. So spring would be a good location for me to find. Let's go on to number 9. It's directly above me here. On to number 9. Inside the book. Oh, I found a skeleton. Oh, I just realised I never showed you what Ashley from number 4 looks like, did I? Which is terribly, terribly bad of me. So there you go. That's Ashley. And now I am on to number 9. Now, something I've forgotten to do is to write down the number of turns. So I've done 1, 2, 3 turns since I exited. 1, 2, 3 turns. So I'm on turn 15. Okay, so I found a skeleton. I found that skeleton. Good old bit of scanning of the Google with Google Lens. There it is. It comes up in SoundCloud.
Some poor soul spent his last moments here. In the overgrown grass are the remains of what looks to be a former adventurer, much like yourself. He may have things of interest, or maybe you should lay his bones to rest. Will you see if you can find something on the body? Hold its skeleton hand and talk to it? Bury the bones, or leave the bones well alone.
There was a lot of emphasis on leave the bones well alone there, wasn't there? I was like, leave the bones well alone. Leave, So, of course, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so see if you can find something on the body, hold the skeleton's hand and talk to it, bury the bones, leave the bones alone. Well, you know what? As I said, thief, part-time grave robber. So I'm going to see if I can find something on the body. Feeling around the skeleton, you think you may have found something. Roll your fate. This can be searched only once. Okay, so, right. Here we go. Roll my fate. What do I get? What do I get? I get 3. You find an iron dagger worth 15 gold. Add it to your inventory and add 1 to your fighting skill. Oh, I like that. I like that as well. So, I've got an iron dagger. And that does +1 FS fighting skill. Now, where's my fighting skill? Okay, so my base fighting skill is currently at 5 because of the bloodstains giving me +2. So my base fighting skill is now at 6. Well, I'm turning into something of a tank. This is what we like. Instruction. Okay, so this location sometimes stays, sometimes goes. Leave the area here unless you completed action 1 or 3, in which case it must be crossed off. Well, that was action 1, find something on the body. So as a result, that's the last time I can look at the skeleton. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording there. I am having a great time playing this game, and I'm going to finish it in my own time without feeling the omnipresent camera looking at me. Okay, what did I enjoy about this game? Let's go through a couple of things. Firstly, I'm going to go back to the dice, actually. D4 mechanic, D6 mechanic. It's a great way of changing the complexity of the game. So I'm playing it with a D4 just to make my life a bit easier. So I gave the example of rolling a 3 or under is 75% success versus on a D6, 3 or under would be a 50% chance of success. So that simple ways to make the game harder if you want by changing to a D6. I wonder, could you play the game with a D8? I might have to try that at some point. There you go. Right, okay, other things that I like. I wax lyrically about the soundscapes and about the artwork. This is a really key thing. Look, directly in front of me is a piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it. We're not talking exciting, if you see it as a piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it. But that's not what the game is. The game is all of these beautiful locations, these fantastic illustrations, these incredibly rich details, the way you can move between them. You can, do I try to touch that? Do I try to talk to them? Do I follow them? Do I try to lead? Whatever you're on, there's options on here essentially. You mix that in with the quests as well, and I've got a bit of an odd quest here, intentionally so, because I knew it was one that would likely just make me move around the board randomly, essentially just to make the video perhaps. Well, I thought it might be more interesting. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Okay. So other things I really liked about the game, I said the soundscapes. So let's be really, really clear on something. Okay, this game you do not have to play with the soundscapes on SoundCloud or the soundscapes downloaded. So that's not required at all. But I just think those little kind of 30-second odd introductions to each location, they really add a bit of kind of flavour to the game. And the soundscapes will carry on playing something like 10 plus minutes, or might even be longer than that, of kind of like low key kind of sound effects and music, etc. Do you know what? I've never asked Ollie how he makes those soundscapes. I must ask him that at some point. Okay, so I'm also going to call out the cover. It's reminiscent of Labyrinth. It's also reminiscent of the never-ending story, with particularly when Atreyu finds the monster in the mound that rises up, etc. I think it just adds a nice bit of class to this as well. Again, I'm going to buy the hardback because, I think just it feels even nicer in hardback, even though it's a fantastic book in softback as well. Okay, I like having easy options to. I'm playing counters and dice. You don't particularly need to. There's a random number generator in there for the rewards. At the side to the pages, you've got the dice rolls that you can pick from the D4, D6. Going back to SoundCloud, having the QR code at the bottom to scan when it scans correctly, because my phone seems a bit ropey at that. That does make it easier to find the correct location as well. Just great. What am I not so keen on? God, I'm going to have to be so picky on some things. If I was absolutely picky as anything, in the printing from Amazon, the black could be a little blacker. In some cases, it's good. It's good. It's just not amazing, But that's the nature of an online print service. It depends on what print systems they're using. There's no problem with it. It's not a problem. It's not like you can't see the stuff. I'm not trying to imply a problem. It's just black is black. Particularly for line drawings, I think it works especially well. What else would I possibly call up on? Really struggling to find anything I don't like about this game, to be honest. I suppose I will call out on if you're using pre-generated map and you are familiar with certain locations. So I know that location 19 has that big scary bad thing in it, and of course if you're watching this you will forever know location 19 as having the Shadow King as well, and that happened in the game. I found myself next to location 19 and I could have pretended I didn't know, but what the hell? I want a fun game, so I chose a different location. So it's good in that respect that it lets me pick the location that I'm not just basically going to die on, as far as I'm concerned, or have to run away from and take damage as I run out the door. But I think over time, as you play, if you're playing with a pre-generated map, that could be a problem. There is a way around that. It is suggested in the rules to use two maps. So the Storymaster has a map with all the numbers written on it, whether that's a pre-generated one for a named scenario or a map they've created themselves for one of the scenarios. And then this blank map is the game map that's used. Now, if you're using a blank game map, then the players don't know where the numbers are. It also means that the Storymaster can kind of like prep in advance. They're like, oh yeah, they're next to number 10, 5 and 4. Okay, I'll just quickly glance at those, see what they are, beforehand. So that means you can then take advantage of that way of playing. Now, to do that, of course, the Storymaster is going to have a map that no one else can see. Now, where are they going to keep such a map? Well, it turns out, going right the way back to what I said originally about blank maps at the back, maybe that is actually a very good use for a blank map at the back, is you can actually fill that in as you go, and then the Storymaster can refer to that. They're almost like creating a little GM screen like that. Obviously, they could also print out the map, stick it in front of them, pre-filled in, with a screen in front of them. You can't do that solo play. So I think, weirdly, the game will work simultaneously best for a solo play where you have a pre-generated map like this, and also best when you don't have a pre-generated map if you play the game several times like I have and know what number equals which room, which is a bit of a conundrum to solve really. So I'm going to have a think about that one, or just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just play it. Just play it. Just enjoy it. If you come across a location you recognise, hey, go with the flow. It's great. Should I give this a rating out of 10? Should I give it a rating out of 5? No, I'm not going to give it a rating. I'm just going to say I enjoy it. I've had a great time playing this. I love these kind of games. This one suits me to a T. Thank you very much.